Hello, how are you all? Hope you've all had a really nice summer. It's nice to see you. I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy this art tutorial that we're sharing with you, the last of the summer, and hopefully we'll be back teaching lots of you and seeing you for real, which would be amazing. Fingers crossed that does actually happen. I've got some artwork for you today inspired by an artist called Melanie Schumacher. Now she's a graphic designer who lives in Minneapolis, and she takes her inspiration from being outdoors and designs artwork with plants and leaves and vines and inspired by water. This one looks very watery because of its colour choice. I'm going to show you how to create these patterns and then how to paint them, and then to finish it off with a design, because if you look super closely it's got little dots on, and she adds these dots to her artwork just to finish them off and give them a bit of pattern. I've done mine in gold, but you might choose to do a different colour. I think white would look really nice as well. Right, let me show you how we're going to do it. Your first thing you're going to need to do is to grab yourself a pencil and draw out the design. I found that pencil doesn't work brilliantly when I show it on the videos, so I'm actually going to do mine in pen, but yours will definitely be in pencil because you want it to be really light and faint, and then if you make any mistakes you can rub it out. You're also going to need paints, colours of your choice. I've gone for these aqua colours, but you can choose what colours you do. A water pot, some brushes. I've got my gold paint here as well as the aqua colours on a paper plate. And then you need a nice thick piece of paper. I've gone for A4. It takes quite a while to paint this, so you might want to go smaller if you think you might not have the patience to paint the whole thing, or if you're feeling super patient you could go a bit larger. But a nice thick heavy grade paper so that it holds the paint well. So like I say, your first job is going to be to draw your design. You'll do yours in pencil, but I'm going to do mine in pen so that it shows up well. You're looking to create these swirls and these sort of blobby shapes here. And what you really need to be looking for is to create what we call negative space. So these ones that I've left white create a negative space, and you need to be leaving spaces like that as you draw your pattern. So bear in mind that you need those as you draw. So we've practiced swirls before if you've done some of our other art tutorials. This one, you're going to create your swirl, and then you're going to create another swirl to follow it. So it's almost a bit like a snail shape or an open snail shape. Okay, so an open spiral. And then you can fit your other spirals in to go with them, and you're looking to interlock them and to fill in those gaps. So you can see that that one is there, and then this one sort of follows it and fits snugly inside. Then you can put those soft triangle blobby shapes in, and then they can fill in the gaps as well. And you can see that you're starting to build up this pattern that interlocks and fits inside each other. I'm going to put another spiral up here. So the patterns that you create are very much up to you about how you want to fit them in, but you're filling your page with these open spirals and then these soft triangle blobby shapes. But remembering when you do the blobby shapes that you want to create shapes within shapes, so that you've got areas that you can paint in those different shades. I'm going to fit one in up here, and because it's quite a sort of soft shape, you can make it fit. So you can see how I'm beginning to build up those shapes. I'm going to squeeze another soft triangle shape in there. Okay, that gives you an idea then. So you're going to fill your page with these soft open spirals and these soft triangles that have also got triangles within triangles. They're not perfect triangles, but that's the shape you're going for. As I say, this will be in pencil and very lightly, and then if you make any mistakes, you can rub it out and you can adjust it and decide how you want it to work. There will obviously be gaps around those shapes, but you're not looking to have too many of those big open gaps. Right, I'm going to pop that one to one side, and then I'm going to shift over to my pencil copy. Now this won't show up so well when it's down on the table, but you can see that I've filled my whole page with those beautiful shapes, and there's very few gaps left. Then you want to start painting. Now I've got these beautiful blues and shades of blue green, and then I've also got a white on my palette. If you get your brush wet, you're going to need probably quite a fine brush for this, and then there'll be some areas where you can go in with a bigger brush when you're not being quite so delicate. And what you're aiming to do is not have two of the same colour together. So I'm going to paint this swirl in here. You need to be very careful with your paint. Try really hard to not go over the edges, and think about putting your strokes so that they follow the shape, so that they're really nice and neat. So I'm painting it in, and I'm making sure that I follow that shape and that I stay within the lines so that it looks as neat as possible. If your paint's quite thin, you might need to go back over it and just give it another layer so that it's not too streaky. Mine's not looking too bad, I think. If you get some blobby bits, just make sure you smooth them out whilst the paint's still wet, so that you get a nice smooth pattern. Okay, so that's my first one in this beautiful turquoise colour. I love this shade. You can see that I've painted it there. Oh, I've got a bit that hasn't quite worked there, but there we go. So it's nice and smoothed out. Let me show you how to paint one of these triangles. I'm going to switch to an even smaller brush because some of these little triangles are really tiny. I'll go with a bit of turquoise and a bit of pale blue. Mixed it on my palette. And then very carefully, I really do need the fine brush here because that's a particularly tiny shape. Make sure there's plenty of paint on your brush, and that way you won't end up with those scratchy edges. It gives a nice smooth finish and helps you get up close to the edges of your painting. I'm going to paint this bright blue right in the centre, and then I'm going to leave the outside of the blue so that it's just white. I'm leaving it as the colour of the page. You can see there, oh, I need to get up really close because it's tiny. Can you see I've got that white outline? Right, the other thing you need to bear in mind as you're doing this is that you need one block colour for your outside colour, the one that goes all the way around all of your shapes. You can see here that I chose to do bright blue for my block colour, and it goes all the way around the outside of my shapes. It might be worth painting that one in first so that you don't get confused and end up painting the wrong sections. You'll have to decide how you're going to go about it and how you want to do it. Sometimes it's worth leaving your colours to dry before you paint round the shape, because otherwise you might pick up some of that colour by mistake and then smudge it. I'm going to show you, even though it's not quite dry, just so you can see on this occasion, but it might be worth leaving your layers to dry so that you don't smudge your colours. Right, so I'm starting to paint in some of that outside. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier, if you get any bits where it's a bit thicker, make sure you go back over it whilst the paint's still wet so that you can smooth out any areas that haven't covered very evenly. Now, I'm not going to paint this whole thing whilst you guys are watching because I don't think that would make for very interesting watching, but you can get the idea that you're choosing one block colour to go in the background and then choosing your colours to fill your shapes. That's probably clearer if I show you on this one. So here I've got my block colour in the background and then my different colours to fill in my shapes. Remembering to leave some of them with this white outline. It works particularly nicely with the white when it's a really skinny outline rather than too chunky. And then once you've filled your page with your different shades and your beautiful colours, whatever colours it is that you choose to use, wait for it to dry and then you can add those dots. Now, like I say, I chose gold for my dots. You can choose whatever colour you think is going to work. Let me show you how that works. I did try this with the end of my paintbrush, and for some reason my paintbrush isn't picking up the paint particularly well. So then I switched and I was just using the tip of my pencil to dip the gold. So I've got a little pot of gold here, and then all you do is pick out which of your shapes you want to be gold, and then you dip your pencil or the end of your paintbrush, if it's working for you, into your gold, and you're adding really, really fine, tiny dots of gold. And it's ever so delicate. And then you want to make sure that, again, you're staying within your lines, and then you're filling in the area that you want to add gold dots to. The gold does look particularly nice because it gives it a little bit of a highlight and a bit of a shimmer. Right, again, I won't finish the whole thing, as you can get the idea, but you're finishing off your beautiful picture with those tiny little dots in the colour of your choice. And then that, hopefully, is what you'll aim to achieve by the end of this session. I'd love to see pictures of them, so do let me know how you get on, and hopefully we will see you soon. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined us through the summer. Good luck with starting back at school. We hope you settle in quickly and enjoy seeing your friends and getting back into some sort of routine. But please, please keep up with your beautiful artwork. You are all very talented and we love seeing what you do. Thanks very much, guys. See you soon. Bye.